For those of us who write fantasy, magic is an integral part of our writing, and it's important to write it in a way that doesn't feel cheap and lazy. Yep, that's right. We are going to be digging into magic systems today, so buckle up. Hi, I'm Lulu. Welcome to my channel. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring that notification bell. This video is going to be a pretty basic rundown of hard and soft magic systems, so for anyone new to the concept, hard magic systems are those that treat magic as a scientific principle. The reverse is soft magic, which has few or no discernible rules, not that the reader is aware of anyway. Therefore, this makes it a more mystical power. And I don't have to tell you that there are some major limitations to both, but also some major advantages as well. Which one a fantasy author ultimately uses really depends on what their story needs. Does your world have an economy or social hierarchy based on magic use? Or is there an elite group of magic users who keep their secrets close to the chest, inspiring awe in the ordinary folk who witness its power? Keep in mind too that audiences are going to prefer different things. Hard magic systems appeal to those who need more answers.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
But for others, this sort of ruins the mystique, which anyone who hated the midichlorian explanation of the Force will attest to. You just have to go with whatever works best for your story. I like both systems when done well. Hard systems like those found in Brandon Sanderson's work intrigue me, and the limitations increase the stakes. But soft magic systems like what you find in Tolkien's work immerse the reader in a childlike sense of wonder. There's also no rule against employing both systems if that's what your story needs. You could have a world that's run on a more modern, scientific type magic system that everyone knows about and a lot of people can use. But alongside it, there's a more mystical, arcane, savage type of magic that's been forgotten by all but a few. That's the great thing about fantasy. The possibilities are endless, but they are not limitless. One thing that neither magic system should be is a get-out-of-jail-free card for the characters. Soft magic written poorly is just a deus ex machina. Hard magic written poorly is just a bunch of guys doing cool supernatural things with no cost or consequence. You do not want either of those outcomes, as it lowers the stakes and makes you, as the writer, seem lazy. So let's start by getting into the nitty-gritty of soft magic, why you might want to use it, and what pitfalls to avoid. What soft magic isn't is a free-for-all where anything goes. In a soft magic system, the magic should be like salt in the bread dough, you know, just a pinch for flavor. There are exceptions, of course, but soft magic is often used where the main character is not a magic user themselves. This helps to keep the magic feeling mystical and unknowable, which is a large appeal of this system. Once too much is explained, you might be falling into hard magic territory. When done right, soft magic has the result of making the magic feel more powerful than they do in hard magic systems. They are spectacular miracles in an otherwise grounded world. In soft magic, the mechanics might not be made too clear to the reader, and it's often divine in origin. My dad once said he didn't like Lord of the Rings because Gandalf's magic doesn't make any sense to him, you know. Why can't he just whip out that magic light spell to chase off the baddies every time? Appealing to my dad's sensibilities as a Sunday school teacher, I told him it's for the same reason Moses couldn't just whip out his staff and have it do whatever he wanted at any given moment. That time he tried, it didn't end well for him. Gandalf is bound by similar rules. His magic, while more in his own power than it was for Moses, is similarly granted to him through a higher power. Different occasions call for different miracles for different purposes. Now, what about hard magic? This is a magic system with hard and fast rules that the reader fully understands. Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series is a very good example of this, where there are magic users called allomancers who will consume different kinds of metals to gain different kinds of powers. The main character in a hard magic story is very often a magic user, though again, there are exceptions. And the reader becomes as familiar with the inner workings of this system as the characters do. Government, society, and the economy will often be shaped around this magic system, like in the aforementioned Mistborn series. And since hard magic is so quantifiable, it's often less awe-inspiring to the characters around the magic caster. When Harry Potter uses a Lumos spell, for example, nobody's amazed. It's just a functional part of the world. No more marvelous to them than turning on a flashlight is for us. It's still cool for the reader, though, who becomes immersed in a world where magic is mundane. But as Brandon Sanderson himself says, the interesting part about magic isn't what it can do, it's what it can't do. The limitations raise the stakes. Superman being able to do literally anything is kind of boring. The concept of kryptonite is where it gets interesting. This applies to soft magic as well. Yes, Gandalf can whip out his magic staff and scare off the Nazgul, but the stakes increase tenfold when the Witch King of the Nazgul shatters Gandalf's staff. We still don't know the full scope of the wizard's powers, but we do know this. They have limits, and he can be defeated. Another fun way to tackle hard magic is to present what appears at first to be soft magic, and then slowly peel back the layers to reveal its intricacies. Just imagine that you showed nuclear power to someone from the medieval era. All they'll understand is that harnessing the power of magical, glowing rocks bring inanimate objects to life. But touching the magic rock or handling it without special garments will curse you with agonizing death. What you understand as hard science, they will see as a mystical, unfathomable power. One that can wipe out cities in an instant, and only a select few powerful people can control. If they were to write a story centered around what they'd witnessed of nuclear power, it would read like a soft magic system. The more they learned about it, however, the more hard the magic would become until it became science. An example from literature is Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive series. Supernatural events that occur around both Kaladin and Shallan seem mystical and mysterious, like soft magic. Also, the Spren become basically background as you read, like leaves and birds and worms in our world. I didn't really need an explanation for them, they just were. And then bam, we get a full, in-depth explanation, and it turns out they're key to all the Cosmere realm. They're intrinsically linked to the magic system and to the phenomena that Kaladin and Shallan are experiencing. Now it's 100% hard magic because now we understand how it works and what it can do and what it can't do. Some might think that these explanations ruin the magic of Stormlight by explaining these ubiquitous, fairy-like beings that we simply came to accept as part of the Rosharan environment. This is one of the drawbacks to hard magic. You risk demystifying your world, but only if you do it wrong. To me, these explanations are no more or less magical than seeing a picture of the Earth from space. Yes, when I look at it, I realize how small this planet is in the grand scheme of things, but I can still stand on the Earth, gape up at the mountains and the seas within it, and feel like it's the biggest thing in the universe. Having explanations about the galaxy and everything within it doesn't ruin the Earth's magic and majesty for me. So don't be afraid to lay down your magic system's rules if that's what your story needs. It's still going to be pretty damn magical for the reader to experience. So there's my rather surface level rundown on hard and soft magic systems. Just remember that both systems can be used to great effect, but they can also be abused as cheap plot devices. As with all writing rules, there's always exceptions, and rules can be broken if the writer has the skill to do so. Just do so responsibly. But that's just this writer's take. Is there anything about these magic systems that I missed or got wrong or overgeneralized? I'd love to hear some further exceptions to these rules, so if you have any examples, drop those in the comments down below. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell for more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, there we go, I got it.